Portalcraft. You do things that it can't really combat against.
Yeah.
Portalcraft is great at dealing with boards and
Yes.
producing boards. It's not really good at dealing with.
Yeah, you're just
Stop hitting me! Yeah, stop burning my face.
That's why, I mean, that's why you're running the Iron Staff, but that's just one card, right? That's just one
And that doesn't
thing.
stop burn damage.
And it's probably the most awkward artifact out of all of them, right? Because it's so expensive. You know, you really need to set up a lot of Acceleratiums and have the Deus Ex effect in play to be able to do those huge sweeping turns
That's right.
that Portalcraft is used to. But or combine that with Biofab, which is something that cannot definitely happen. But it's just far and few in between, and there's no healing in the deck. So,
all right, guys, Grand Finals. Zeruel on the winner side of the bracket. Praetorian on the loser side of the bracket. Starting out here with Burn Runecraft versus mid-range.
So there's a few ways this can go. Praetorian can take the early win, but as you should all know, if you watch a lot of Shadowverse tournaments, Shadowverse Open tournaments, you know, in this format, a lot of it comes down to how much you can bully the outstanding deck in the list, right? And if Portalcraft is that, Praetorian might take a win on the Shadowcraft list, but then he has to face off once again against the neutral blood, this burn rune, and that might be tough.
A very symmetrical
This
hand
is,
that
yeah.
Zeruel is drawing here. His opener was pretty bad. 2 mutagenic bolts and a telescope.
I think that that telescope needs to be adjusted a bit. He's seeing multiples of whatever he's looking at.
Right.
To focus that up a little bit.
That's right. Get some focus. Stop seeing double. Wipe that smudge off.
Yeah.
Praetorian again with just another great curve. He's got an Andriolphus that will possibly come back with this Skull Ring. He doesn't have the on-curve Prince Catacomb this time, which would really put this draw over the top.
All right. It's a bunch of alchemists.
I honestly really don't like hitting the Andriolphus there because that really could just smooth out the draw of Praetorian where he might just go face with everything that he has.
Yes.
I don't like that much.
Yeah.
It's a very small decision, but I think it's worth noting.
It also is, I think, somewhat of a tell for kind of what is in hand. If you see Praetorian go face for everything, he probably has some kind of curve that leads into an Ector or some very big pressure coming down the way. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It can
if
give
he
you
goes
more
for
information.
the draw, you know that, okay, he's worried about something that's going to happen in a few turns.
Yep. I mean, this draw, it didn't look too good from Zeruel, but now he has options. He's got the Carl, he's got the Dwarven Alchemist, so he can go tutor for something. Hopefully a Master Mage Levi, as always.
Yeah.
He still has a turn to wait for that tutor, though.
Gaze into the light.
Carl's just so good.
Yeah, and what I like about this deck, the Mysteria version of this deck, is it has a lot more sigils, just because it relies on that Silverblade Golem, or at least it maintains a lot of them. You don't have the Mage of Nightfalls, right? You're not trying to spend them early. Even Magic Illusionist, you know, you don't have that as well. So that means Carl's healing usually ends up being much more common, you know?
Now, the one thing that Zeruel's deck does do, though, is fill up the board with those sigils. So it gets a lot harder to make bigger plays later in the game if you cannot find ways to pop them sooner.
Definitely calls for evolving the Alchemist a bunch.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can keep the sigils. I mean, you'll have plenty of sigils by the time Silverblade Golem comes.
Yeah.
It's just, do you have the board space to effectively deal with your opponent's board is the question. Now, he hasn't had problems yet.
Yeah.
This hand's not too spicy from Praetorian at the moment. He does have an attendant he could play this turn. He could also, evolve Andriolphus, play Necro Assassin.
Okay. So what this is, I think, really tells us that Praetorian is probably looking to make a move around turn 9, turn 10. I feel like with this hand.
And there's not a lot of stuff going on for Zeruel either. He's just kind of sitting there. He does have mutagenic bolts if he wants to take care of a big board.
Yeah. Mutagenic Bolt is interesting against Shadow because it's kind of like, well, you just Ector after.
Ector, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it being the only removal option is not great. Like, you definitely need other options to start dealing with the board. Unfortunately, there's not really any of the good options at the moment.
What is very nice is if you start pulling the Master Mages.
Here it is. And he'd do it.
It's gonna telescope.
Ah! We're in the finals, baby. That's how you do it.
Yeah, only the best for the best.
That's right.
The question remains, though, like, how do you deal with the Lich? You Master Mage, and the Lich pops out. You swing, and the Lich does not die to Master Mage.
You have to evolve it over. honestly.
Yeah.
It's like really the only way to do it. You could pop it out this turn, but that doesn't really do anything either, right?
Yeah. I think you need to kind of leave it for now.
Ooh, I like it. He's doing that early. Wants to draw some more cards.
It's turn 5. He hasn't found Mysterious, so that's kind of worrisome.
Yep, it makes sense, though, to use the Magic Missile to draw into something. Otherwise, he wasn't really doing much else that turn.
Okay. Well, it could come to the point where maybe he just does do the mutagenic.
This is definitely a good board of mutagenic here.
Yeah,
Mutagenic,
there's a lot of
follow
last
that
word
up.
effects.
Mhm.
Mutagenic, you at least get rid of that. But then you're taking, what, 3 + 6?
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't feel good. You're taking more than that because if he plays Ektar,
Yeah,
which
so
I
Ektar-
would. This is the turn you play Ektar against a Burn Runecraft deck.
Ektar is the 3 + 6, so it's going to be 9 + 3 from the Flame Rats. 12 damage.
So much damage, and
Yeah.
you know that Master Mage Levy is in contention here to be played. So get the damage out of your followers when you can,
Yeah.
and you're not
There's
using up
no
any
reason
shadows.
to not play
Yeah,
Ektar here.
You can't. You can't just. Yeah, not do this. This is so good.
Big thing, too, is you play the Ektar here, the Immoral Thing comes out on the next turn. Or you play the Master Mage here. Which you have to play the Master Mage
You
here.
have to. This is a must play. Then you have to evolve it over the Ektar, which will in turn draw a card because it got Andrialphus pumped.
Yeah. Kind of having to play into that bad situation. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I would 100% Thane here, though.
Thane, I mean, you can't even meet it with Mutagenic Bolt at this point.
Well, if you Thane, you could actually lose, right? 3/6. No. If you Thane and then odds comes down, Mutagenic, Chain Lightning.
Attack for
3,
6. Yeah, that's
6, 12. Oh, you're one off.
one off. Yeah.
So many
9,
times, one off.
10, 11, 12. Yeah.
If he gets a piercing rune, I think it's over.
You're breathing too loud.
No, not even, because he'll kill your own. He'll destroy. No, yeah, it will, because it'll do +1 over the Flame Rat.
Well, now that the 6 is gone,
Yeah.
the lethal plane is gone as well. And this is just rough. This is a rough game for Zeruel to try to come back from. But a very big deficit. Hasn't gotten access to his Mysteria. Doesn't have access to Silverblade Golem.
Yeah. I think you look to control the board as best you can. You have no card draw, and you can't dump your hand very well.
There's not really a lot of board control options. He's got this,
Yeah.
and then, I mean,
Needs the
yeah,
Silver Blade
yeah,
Golem,
so-
really.
Yeah, he needs something. Mutagenic Bolts are good, but they
Mm.
don't technically remove your opponent's followers.
Yeah.
They just stall them for a little bit.
Particularly not great against Shadow in turns where you're at risk of getting Ektar.
If you're not ahead of Shadowcraft when you play Mutagenic Bolt and then they Ektar you, like, yeah, they just kind of push you all the way back.
So this is just one turn away from closing out because Aisha, of course, comes down next
Yep.
turn. But I think Praetorian still kind of needs to respect the board a little bit, right? Like,
I think he should just play completely defensive here. I think if he can try to deal with the board, which he can't, right? So that's step 1. Step 2 is how do I play defensively if at all possible? Honestly, his hand doesn't play very defensively either. I don't really know if he has options to do that. I mean, he
think you
can play
have to Thane.
he can play Ektar, but Ektar would use up the shadows.
Yeah,
You want to do
he
that.
has to Thane.
And that's 6. If he does, that could put him into a lethal situation.
He can't play the Aisha without
4,
losing lethal. So
5,
maybe the
6,
best option
7,
is to give up
9,
lethal
10.
just to survive.
Oh man, he is gonna play super
Because you
defensively.
do get to swing for 3, and your zombies will clear. So it's kind of like a, and this does set up the whites, right?
It's still also a lethal attack because you get Storm with the enhance on Aisha, and
That's right,
Zeruel's already down to 3. So this is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
This is perfectly fine. I was thinking you don't want to get rid of the shadows, but it doesn't matter. We're already in lethal range.
Yeah.
And that's just it. There's nothing Zeruel can play here that'll matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he could get a grand summoning. That is the one chance he has.
Nope.
Nope. Needs a grand summoning off of Oz here. And even that will only give him 1 ward because he doesn't have full board space. Yeah.
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 If he plays Wizardess of Oz, Mutagenic Bolt, and then Chain Lightning.
Oh, that's right. He can't even draw cards. What am I even thinking? There's nothing to be done here.
No, yeah, the Aisha's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that ward. Yep.
But like you said, Praetorian can get the early win
Yeah.
here, but he's got to win with his Portalcraft deck against two decks that are very well suited to beat it.
Yeah. This is, you know, kind of. I think this is a good example of the Runecraft list. Just Mutagenic Bolt is a very good card, and when you're kind of built around grabbing that and having that be one of your core spells, sometimes it just won't work, right?
Yeah, sometimes you just don't have actual removal to back it up.
So it's interesting. Like on the play, on the draw, actually is really big here, because the Ector is a response to the Mutagenic Bolt, right? Whereas if you were on the play,
then you could Master Mage Levy before Ector becomes a problem.
Yep.
Absolutely. So that's a rough one. I mean, honestly, I really don't know if you're not playing an aggressive deck if Mutagenic Bolt is really the best option. But it is. I mean, it does kind of deal with everything. You know what I mean? Like it can.
It gives
deal
you
with
that
anything.
edge. Maybe you reduce it down to a 1 of, right?
Yeah, he's playing it as a 3 of, which seems a little high for me. Like he needs other options to be able to clear off after he Mutagenic Bolts, but we'll see. It's definitely not over yet.
Yep. And remember, Zeruel is on the winner's side. Praetorian going up 1. Now onto the Portalcraft deck, and this is a matchup that we think is going to be pretty tough because of how much direct damage is possible. Of course, I don't know what magic Praetorian has, but if he kind of subverts a lot of the dangers of this deck somehow, there's still a win.
Yeah,
Portalcraft
it's
has
possible.
a game ender for sure.
Yeah.
You know? So the early hand, like you said, meta production on the first turn. And this activates Resonance on the even turns, which means when you land on 6, unless something weird has happened, you're going to shuffle. 6 is when you play Deus Ex.
Alright. Majesty Lion to draw some more cards. Has an Acceleratium already in hand, so putting all of these analyzing artifacts in your deck early, not so bad.
Yep. Remember, Acceleratium is different from Deus Ex. You do both provide the free kind of the play point replenishment, but the Acceleratium will give it rush, which is very important to immediately draw and impact the board.
Interesting here. Why no Telescope on turn 2 there, you think? Why not give yourself the options? I guess you have next turn to do it too. It's never really a big deal, but like, maybe you want to play a Silent Lab that turn instead of the Alch, so you can save that for an Evolution turn.
I do think it's interesting. I think, you know, I don't have a lot of experience with the deck, but I would imagine kind of drawing until you're confident in the options you have later on is probably what you want to do, especially because you don't want to run into problems like you did last game where you have Oz but it doesn't draw, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very slight difference. He's still going to be able to do it this turn. It's just every turn, I feel like, the more options you can see, the better you can plan out your game.
I think, for example, this is pretty healthy, right? You have the Master Mage, you have the Oz, you have the Halo Golem, and you can draw more if you need.
There it is. Every time, Praetorian's on it with the Deus Ex.
It's pretty good. I mean, you know, again, with any card that gets up to the 6-7 play point territory, it's pretty likely that you draw it. You filter through your deck a little bit by adding some artifacts.
Yeah. Or you add stuff to your deck by that.
Yeah, sorry.
Which makes it even harder.
Yep. Which makes it more difficult, but there is quite a few chances to draw it, you know, especially if you triple mulligan for it or double mulligan. Meta production for it.
And this is a pretty aggressive draw here from Praetorian. He's able to tempo here. He's able to clear board.
The double puppets feels good in the early game, but again, it's really like the fact that you're conceding this to the later game. You're getting some damage, and this is like Portalcraft tempoing out, right? Like almost Saphira's not played at 10 kind of thing,
right?
You know? If you can't close out the game that way, then you're still going into the territory where possibly Mysterias could stack up and Silverblade Golem comes down, and you know, Silverblade Golem comes out 8, turn 9 it blasts you with spells, and your Saphira is turn 10. You know, that doesn't feel great.
Right. Now, with the way that Praetorian has played this game, he's set up in such a way where he can play the Spinaria, and the artifact that comes out, even if it dies, will still let Resonance be active.
Yeah. He pulls another artifact here.
Awaken.
with the puppets. So
Yeah.
good.
And he can just swing the puppets and just pass, but I think he might want Resonance to happen. So, gets a Prime Dragon Keeper effect if he leaves it. Oh, okay, he takes it.
I like
Wow.
this. I like
Okay.
This. This essentially could mess up next turn, but it puts it in the hands of Zeruel to actually want to deal with the artifact instead of the Spinaria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Turn 5. That means Master Mage is shut off. There, and he activates it for him. You take that gladly.
That's right.
And now you can play your Deus Ex without evolving. And meanwhile, over on Zero's side, no sight of Mysteria.
Yep, and we're in a position again where Praetorian is ahead, and it makes Mutagenic Bolt scary to play. And he drew the other Acceleratium.
Yeah.
Man, his draws today with his deck, so good.
It's okay. It's okay to throw this one away. You still have one more. And you know that it's like the rush is actually not as important. Oh, nice.
I like it. Aggressive.
Yeah.
Basically making
Mutagenic
Mutagenic Bolt even worse. Yeah.
Yep. Mutagenic Bolt me. Oh, there is a Mage of Nightfall there.
Okay. So he does have a little bit of an aggressive game plan, just hasn't been drawing it.
Yeah.
I think there was one Mage of Nightfall in this deck. I think it's a one of.
I think so as well. But it's just, look at the defense values on that side of the board. It's so...
Yeah, you can't Master Mage this. You can Mutagenic Bolt it, but it doesn't feel good. He might go with the Grand Summoning this turn just to try to get tempo back.
Which is probably pretty okay. Especially because you know that your Portalcraft opponent did not shuffle.
It won't be long now.
Yep, and this is risky because they do play substitutions and dimension cuts.
Yeah.
So
I'll value that Dimension Cut will be able to do it. On Resonance, Dimension Cut is a 2 play point for 4 damage.
It's unreasonably good.
Nice.
Yeah, he can do that, Acceleratium. He can Hamelin just to put something in play and then pass.
weapons.
Yeah. Play it all. Nice. If
Put
you
that
play
into
this
play?
Acceleratium, you basically are at the same play points for playing that. Analyzing Artifact.
It was really... No, what? Does he have anything other than Analyzing Artifacts in his deck right now? It might be the case that he doesn't.
I don't think he does.
Okay. I was going to say, it would have been really risky for him to play that Fervent Machine Soldier, but if it's only Analyzing Artifacts in his deck, then he knew what he was going to pull to get him back into Resonance here.
Relax.
Yeah, it might just be those at the moment.
Yep. And Portalcraft again, flexing its board control muscles here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Goodbye, Saphira.
Not what you like.
What do you guess the Saphira value is? I think it's about 6. 5.
It's not that high yet. I think it's
like 5.
I think it's like 2 or 3.
2 or 3?
Yeah. He hasn't played that many artifacts yet.
He had 1 artifact turn.
Oh, that's right. Bustless Samaria. I always forget that Spinaria adds the artifact.
Yeah.
So maybe like 4, maybe 3
Yeah,
or
4 or 5.
4 or 5, somewhere
Around
in that age.
there.
3 to
Yeah.
5. 3 to 5. There we go.
Not so much.
Yeah, not so much.
This
So
ends
this is
here.
another turn where you kind of...
Here's what real magic looks like.
Okay, so you can throw in your analyzing and meta production
Still
to
turn.
shuffle again. But the question is, like, in this situation, you might be shuffling too fast, right?
I don't think that's true ever. I don't think that's
I
possible.
think you need to play out your Icaruses. You can't just shuffle here.
No. You definitely need to play the artifact generators,
Yeah.
but I don't think there's a world if you play your hands correctly that you're ever going too fast because you can always turn it off at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Slipped up.
Oh, wow. Okay, you can play that in meta production.
Well, if he plays meta production, it will shut it off.
Well, he can play the Mystic. So it'll,
Oh, if he plays the
Mystic
too,
costs
yeah.
1, basically. Yeah. Oh, he missed the opportunity.
I like this though. Getting the happy pigs in play means that if you want to wipe my board, you're gonna heal me.
Oh, boy, and that's a hand.
That is a hand.
Oh, my gosh. That spin area is going to go to town. Plus, there's the Acceleratium there.
Random puppeteer strings in case he needs to clear board.
Yeah, fine. This is totally fine. This Spinaria is going to be so powerful. He literally, like, if he Spinarias, throws in the Spinaria's artifact, then plays the next artifact that comes up, that's just the board is clear.
Yep. He can actually just fill up the board and not have to trade.
Yep, just Spinaria, throw down the 2 artifacts, throw in the Spinaria's artifact, and play the one that you get from it. And then that's all you have to do.
Yep. Or leave it in play either way.
Awaken.
Well, it will do 3 damage of ping.
Oh, he still does need 1 more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
play.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. And he can play both of these.
Easily. And he can shut off Resonance while doing it. The hand's good enough. He's got removal. He's got another Acceleratium to play down next turn.
He can play the Accelerator this turn.
He can do that too.
You do. It depends on whether you want that. I think you can wait, right? Stretch your Acceleratiums over a longer period of time. Oh, okay, yeah.
I slipped up.
You could play the. I think if you play the Mystic first, you could have done that. Maybe. I don't know.
This turn, I don't think he needed to play the turn that way. That was a little interesting way to do that. But not bad. I mean, nothing can really be bad when you fill up your board and you redraw 6 cards. There's no bad play in there, and you wipe your opponent's board.
So your Saphira is probably going to close the game out. Yeah, the puppet's going to disappear, so it's not board locked.
Well, I'd say it's like 6 damage now, right? We haven't seen that many artifacts yet.
Well, in combination with the 5 damage on board, I think it might be over.
That's true.
Okay.
Well.
Holy magic is safe.
It'll be pretty close. And if there's any ability to like pull artifacts with your machine soldier, and then
We'll see. I don't know if
back
it's
up to
lethal
it.
yet, but even if it's not lethal, there's no chance that Praetorian's ever going to lose this board this game. He's basically just in control of the rest of this game. And this is the power of Portalcraft. It's literally just the board fill, board wipe, refill your hand.
Yeah.
You literally just do it, rinse and repeat, and then if you need to, you have Saphiras to end the game.
I think that Zeruel is in a tough spot. I feel like much like the Daria decks that Praetorian was facing up against, like Zeruel has not actually drawn the options that he would have preferred.
Yeah, he didn't get early damage in. The problem with his deck is that he doesn't really have an aggressive curve, and if he doesn't draw that curve, sometimes he's just going to put himself into a situation where he can't deal enough damage fast enough.
Yeah.
So broken.
Okay, he's gonna win over the course of 2 turns. 6.
7.
Aw, dang it.
Okay. That was a little bigger.
Unbelievable.
Does he have this other Saphira in hand already? He
Yeah,
does.
he does.
Yep.
And Resonance is off. But yeah, it is risky if you're not grabbing lethal to just do that.
Interesting. Setting up
So
for another
you know
turn.
it does 7, right? Zeruel knows that 7 damage is ready to go. You don't have any board clear option, and that just might close out the game.
Yeah, that's the problem. No board clear. Portalcraft's going to make it look easy. Portalcraft has a chance
It's gonna
now.
reset it.
Yeah, going to reset it.
Gonna
Portalcraft's going to have
reset
a chance to win this. I mean, the game might not be over immediately, but, I mean, realistically, the game is over.
Yeah, I mean, there's 6 damage on board that you can't remove, and another 7 damage from the Saphira in hand.
You can gain 2 from the Carl, put you at 13. So 7, 11, 12, 13 is exactly what Praetorian can deal. So yeah, maybe that's that. Well, I guess
Well,
you
you
can
have double Carl, right?
Yeah, that's true. You have double Carl. Never mind.
So double Carl, you play the Carl, you play the Silent Lab.
The darkness is mine.
Yep.
You can still play the Carl, you can still play the Silent Lab.
Yep.
Can
You don't get
1,
the
2,
2/2.
3, 4, 5.
But that's okay. Yeah, the problem is he just has to go face. He can't even afford to like stop and trade.
Oh, now the game is over.
Yeah.
At least
get
it looks
past
cool.
13. Yeah, it looks cool.
And that's gonna be it. Portalcraft is gonna take another victim.
Ridiculous.
Another victim.
Ridiculous.
Praetorian resets the bracket off the back of double Saphira. 7. Of course, we knew that.
Yes. This time we knew.
Impressive.
Impressive.
Not here.
Praetorian resets the bracket, and Zeruel going back to the drawing board. I wonder how spooked you are. Are you
I'm
like
just
reaching
spooked.
over to the Portalcraft ban button?
And like try to ban.
I don't know if I want to play against that anymore. It definitely feels bad. I mean, it's demoralizing. Playing against Portalcraft, you are literally like growing a beard as your opponent is playing out his turns. Right?
That's fair. That's fair. But again, we've seen Praetorian hit the high roll every single game. He's had the Acceleratiums. He's had the Deuce X's every single game.
His opponent hasn't had the Darias, hasn't
Yep.
had the Mysterious, haven't had the Silverblade Golems.
Yep.
Hasn't
So-
even had in certain situations like the Master Mages when he really wanted it.
Right. So If he does it again, which I mean, he's on, you know, track to do it. I mean, I imagine he's been doing it most of today, considering he's got here, or he's gotten here. And sometimes, you know, the stars align, the angels are with you. You know, in this case, the Sephiras and the Deus Ex Machinas and things like that. So,
yeah,
who knows?
I have to, you know, I think the Runecraft deck that Zeruel has brought today, maybe there's some. What do you think are the best optimizations he can make to kind of
Speed it up again. Oh, you mean like with what he currently have to mulligan into? I think it's just to speed it up in general. Like, you need the 2-drop, you need the 3-drop, you need to deal the damage early so that your mutagenic bolts are impactful. If the mutagenic bolts aren't impactful, you can't win the game because it's the card you're running 3 of.
Yeah.
It's the card that is your backbone.
Yeah.
So if your backbone doesn't ever get you into a position that puts you ahead because you didn't do anything before it, you can't really win the game.
I wonder if you can. Oh, I guess Old Man Levi is not really a thing.
I wish.
Yeah, rip.
I wish.
Would have been
I'll play that
great.
in every
Would have been
deck.
great as a 2-drop to fulfill that role and give you the Crimson Sorcery off the back of Mysteria, which starts getting real ridiculous.
Well, yeah, Crimson Sorcery with Mysteria is. But I do that in Unlimited. You can't do it so much in rotation, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, gonna have to sit, and Zeruel is gonna think about what's happening, right?
I think he's got to reorganize his mind. Do I want to ban the same deck? Do I want to play the same decks in the same order? Because this all is important. I mean, it's not just about the matchups. It's about which deck sits the other deck. Because if you win with a deck that has a bad matchup against another deck, you don't have to play that matchup anymore.
Yes. I think he has to think about. The big thing he has to focus on is what are the realistic ways that my Runecraft deck plays out. Like, this is where the practice really shows, right? Like, if you've practiced with your deck and you know time and time again, like, oh, that was my low roll, this is my high roll, this is my average, this is what happens when I mulligan this way, then you understand what's going on right now, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, I can still have confidence in this deck because I know that was an
This
off
is very
situation.
unlikely.
Yeah.
That this particular set of circumstances happened. Absolutely.
And you can know, like, okay, if that's what Portcraft has to offer, then my average scenario to best scenario is still going to be good for me. So I can
They
just
have
continue.
to draw Deus Ex for me to realistically lose this game.
Yeah.
So if they do it every game, I have a chance to lose. But still, if I just have a good draw, I can still win off the back of an aggressive draw with Mutagenic Bolt and Master Mage Levies and things like that.
And that's what I think Zeruel has to really think about. How comfortable and how much experience do you have with that deck to understand what really is going on? Because I think the flaw of a lot of less seasoned competitors or competitors that get anxious or, you know, feel like they're lost because they don't have that experience in knowing, like, I can understand this situation. I
And
know
just
why.
brush it off. Like, when things like that happen, just know that that's not the norm and just move on.
I like it. Start with a Bloodcraft deck and just
Yes.
give this thing a run for its
This
money.
is what I like.
Yeah.
Start with your Bloodcraft deck. Get aggressive.
Yeah.
Just get the win out of the way.
Yep. And then just understand, like, oh, here are the weaknesses that I felt when I played this.
See, okay, so guys, we've been talking about, like, what the weakness is and the high rolliness of it all. Like, so what we're talking about is Portalcraft has a good deck into where you want to basically just mulligan for a curve. Always. You just want to have a good curve so you can deal damage, deal with the board, things like that, and just hope you draw the Deus Ex.
Yeah.
So far, he has been drawing it. We need to see, again, we don't need to see, but we need to see a game where he doesn't draw it so we can see if it still plays out in any fashion.
Oh, man.
Every time.
Yeah, just start playing it. Okay, he's got a Radiant, too. He just put a Radiant into his deck as well. Still, though, very dangerous. I mean, look at this curve.
Yes.
This time has a Savage Wolf, has the Impartial Strix. The Valicia is doing damage, right?
Yep, he is on the draw, so he's a little bit slower this game.
But the thing is, like, if you value, I guess you have the ward actually, so that's actually quite fantastic for Praetorian playing the Iron Staff here.
Oh, absolutely. Wards are crazy good. If
Yeah.
you don't play 3 of these in your Portalcraft deck, you're crazy. They're just
Yeah.
better versions of Magisteel Lions, essentially.
Yeah. At this point, I think you kind of just, oh, very nice. Could even ping the ward, yeah.
Yep, got to bust
Yeah.
through the ward.
It broke.
But that's such a tempo loss, right?
Mhm.
Still has a second Evlicia, or could just play the Impartial Strix. That is on the evolution turn.
I like the Strix play. Strix will mean that, you know, it'll force out an Icarus, plus a pull. It'll have to pull a good one. It could just pull a Radiant Artifact and something he couldn't play, which would be unfortunate, but...
Nice. The double Icarus is great. Kind of further solidifies the chance that you get the Ancient Artifact, which is the one that innately has Rush. Helps in the early board state. And the Biofab means this swing is going to be huge.
Yep. The Lyrial draw was perfect here. Actually, Lyrial plus Evolicia. Play the Baphomet, whatever your flavor here.
Interesting.
Yep. The old
The
chain.
Baphomet only has a few targets it can hit, by the way, because a lot of these are neutrals.
Right. There's
So-
Savage Wolf, there's Baphomet, there's Phantom Cat.
The march goes on.
And that's why he's been pulling Phantom Cat
Yeah.
so common.
Yep, and I think that's it.
Ouch! It totally burns.
What? He's not even playing Emeraldas in this deck.
Yeah.
It's not going up. No, not going up at all.
You might say I'm a genius.
Yeah, this card is still ridiculous.
Coming at you.
It's
What
so
will it
good.
pull? Will it pull one of the 3/1s with Rush? It
Ancient.
will not.
Oh,
Ouch!
no! Oh, no.
Ouch!
So there is a world where you biofab this and you're like, great, I love this. Now I'm going to see a 5 play point, 4/3 store multiple times in my Deus Ex pools.
Oh, he still has a dimension cut, so I was going to say maybe this forces him to have to trade
What's
into the
his-
4/2, but he has a
What's his
dimension cut.
resonance at? Okay, so he doesn't really want to biofab that?
Right.
Well,
Well,
maybe
he
he
could do
does.
that with
Yeah.
the meta
He can
production.
biofab it now.
I guess that doesn't change the cards because you draw the card afterwards. It's just for the duration of that turn.
That's right, yeah.
This is getting kind of sucky for Zeruel here. He hasn't got a lot of damage in yet.
He still has a swing of double Savage Wolf coming up, and he can, play out his play points very well this way.
I think you just got to Evo face. You just gotta throw everything, all caution to the wind right now. Throw everything face that you can, and just hope you start drawing into your damaging options in Phantom Cat and Hector's.
So I feel like this is the first time we're seeing Deus Ex evolve too, right? Deus Ex evolve swing. Is it?
It technically doesn't even need to.
Yeah, because you can just crash into the 4/4 and then leave the 2/1 up.
Honestly speaking, you don't even need to play the Deus Ex this turn. You can actually just play an even
You
game
can
right now with
Spinaria.
Spinaria. Yeah.
Spinaria and then Ancient swing into the 4/4, then have the Ancient artifact just live, and the Spinaria will just ping.
Mhm.
Can you keep me
There it is.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
don't-
option.
I don't mind this at all.
Awaken.
Awaken.
Now the
Oh,
fight begins.
he's gonna preserve cards.
Yeah, this is such a good play. Like you take over the entire board.
Yeah.
You have so many things in play that just have to be dealt with.
So I would actually just play that Ancient artifact.
I would have too. Just get it out of your hand.
Because when it gets destroyed, it's like great.
Yeah, thanks. Plus, it's just another threat that you already have in play that can also attack face next turn. The only reason he's saving it, I believe, is so he can make the choice to biofab, or because he can play it alongside Deus Ex Machina and still get the play point back, but he can't deal 3 damage to face with it next turn.
And it's interesting because the danger here, right, is if he had played that, then he has that and the Radiant artifact.
Yeah.
Was
And
that
you can just
4/3?
literally just win the
Yeah.
game with aggro, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been exactly lethal if nothing on the board was wiped, which probably something.
Probably going to get something, yeah. The Spinaria is either going to get taken care of. He might want to use the Savage Wolf to get rid of the artifact that's in play. He might just fill up the board here with neutrals.
Partial Strix, evolve the fairy, yeah. Oh. Okay.
Interesting. So not splitting the stats.
Gotta take out the Spinaria.
And I think this game's over. I think Praetorian's just gonna
Yeah.
gonna start doing way too many things.
Evolving not to face. Wow, once again, Portalcraft is just launching itself forward. Double biofab.
This is why we were so excited. We even you know what, we naysayed it before this match too. We were like,
Yeah,
there's no
it's
way
tough.
it's gonna come back, reset the bracket, win twice.
I think the meta has come full swing. It's just a little too slow paced, right?
Yeah, a little too slow to let Portalcraft creep
Yeah.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it definitely is a traditional thing with Portalcraft is its difficulty handling like big wide boards.
I still can't get over the fact of Praetorian's draws though. When I play Portalcraft, there are games where I do not draw Deus Ex Machina, okay? It does exist, I promise
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah,
It doesn't
definitely
look
does.
like this every game.
This is basically the last opportunity. He's able to install it here. Now, he's not in the clear yet. He's looking very, very good.
Show's over.
Not in the clear yet, but this is just getting worse and worse. Double ward.
Yep.
Is exactly what you want to see.
Not a bad draw. That's a way to get some
Yeah.
extra damage in.
Yep. 3. You can ward up to protect it, but everything is just going to be... well, you have Accelerate. Yeah, everything's just going to...
There's plenty of
Yeah.
wards. Acceleratium.
Everything is gone. Everything is gone, Exo. Nothing
World.
lives.
The world. It's all blowing up to this Portal Craft deck.
Bow down to your overlords, your artifact overlords. Oh God, yes. Listen to the noise as the play points are replenished. Listen.
So many things going on with Portal Craft. To be honest, if you like effects happening on your side of the board over and over and over again, Portal Craft is definitely the craft for you.
It's the place for you. I don't think there's anything that's vengeance activating.
I don't think so either.
Neither human nor
Nice.
beast.
I like it. Push the issue.
Yep, just saying I want to put a bunch of damage into play.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with this. Has plenty of good cards next turn. Doesn't need to filter this hand.
Yep. Yeah, and at this point, no evolution orbs. It's highly unlikely that he can actually close out this board. And Portalcraft takes a win on neutral
That's game.
blood.
That's game.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wow.
Wow.
Praetorian,
I won't accept this.
the Portalcraft prophet.
Yeah, the first one to bring it. Basically won with it every single time.
Yeah. The only loss is to Burn Rune, the traditional Burn Rune.
And I think it's all honestly he could have won that game had he just gone a little sooner with his Deus Ex Machina. It's possible. All right, now we get to see Shadowcraft on Praetorian side. Now it's Zeruel who's on the back foot. He's got to win with both of his decks if he wants to take this tournament down.
And there is a world where, I mean, we saw what happened when the Runecraft deck went up against Shadow, right?
Yeah. Shadow, I mean, especially Praetorian's version of it. It's just a little bit more aggressive than the other Shadowcraft decks. I don't think a lot of people are prepared for, like, more aggro-centric decks. And by aggro, quote-unquote, I just mean it has a few more options in the early game.
All right. The last game, or possibly the last game, I suppose.
Yes.
If Zeruel does take the win, he has another shot, but going to run with Bloodcraft again.
Fool.
This will be really telling to me,
Come
right?
on.
I think the Angelic Knight is basically additional methods for things like Lurching Corpse and the Attendant of the Night to become more powerful.
And I think if you already have a Savage Wolf, you don't need to keep something like the Angelic Knight. Zeruel
Yeah,
agrees.
and he tosses it. Nice.
Right,
He's got the Goblin.
I
into
want
the
to see.
Merman.
I want to see Wise Merman off the top. I want to see Goblin into double Wise Merman.
Oh boy.
One
Oh, boy.
time.
He has an opportunity to do it.
One time, baby.
There's one dream. He's on the play.
Just empty that hand.
Oh gosh, it's Goblin versus Goblin.
Wise Merman will win that battle every time.
Yep.
Then again, you just win it right back with Bellinus. So
Yeah, so I think you should just go face.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can. You got to take the value trades, man.
Okay.
Gotta.
There it is. I suppose he will have the opportunity now to just swing. Because there's no point in crashing into the Bellinus.
Well, technically, you can control it a little bit with the Savage Wolf, but I don't think that's worth it. You're losing too much damage.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay. This way you can split your
Yeah.
damage a little
So
bit.
you maintain 2 damage on one of the followers. Interesting. I like it.
I like Savage Wolf here, too.
Yeah. Savage Wolf plays a little nicer with the curve.
Plays a little nicer by keeping neutrals in hand for Hector as well.
Yeah. Opts to hop it away. All right.
What will it hit? It doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
the
all
same
the
thing.
same. It's all the same.
And then Skull Ring off the top.
Yeah.
Perfect draw.
Just in time.
If he didn't, Soul Squasher would have been this turn. Not
Yeah.
as good.
Really, really just in time.
Yeah.
But this is still bad. Like, Savage Wolf, Merman, whatever. We'll play Baphomet some other time.
Yeah. Yeah. Savage Wolf coming down here. Get that damage in. Cannot be removed. Well, technically, there is evolution turns coming up next turn, so Praetorian can clear this entire board.
But this is great headway, right? The only question is if Ceres is going to come down. And I believe Praetorian is playing Ceres, is he?
I don't think he's playing
I
Ceres.
don't think so, yeah.
I don't think he's playing Ceres.
Yeah.
He's playing Dark Blade Fiend, which is one of the other cards that used to pair up with it very nicely, but I don't think he's playing Saris. I still think it's a mistake, guys. I don't care if it's not in most of these decks that you see. I still think it's a mistake not to play that card. I don't care.
So Hector is not going to come in line for a while, right? He's not going to get that ping. He's basically just going to be a 4/4 ward.
Well, he's going to do the same thing we've seen him do every game. Turn 5, play Baphomet, get the Phantom Cat.
It's going to get the Phantom Cat.
Yeah.
He's going to play Baphomet, Razor Claw, get the Phantom Cat, and then just start winning the game.
Yeah.
From there.
That's how the deck does.
Yeah.
It's actually going to clear the entire board here.
Oh, yes.
While dealing some face damage.
Yeah.
Let's make the world
Like it.
brighter.
And let's see. The Baphomet could roll into another Baphomet. It could also roll into a Savage Wolf, which wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah. There's a lot of good options. And the fact that he pulled... well, I guess there's... Yeah. Pretty good chances it'll get something nice.
Yep.
Yep.
Not bad. Evo this, go face.
I would Evo, yeah. Absolutely.
You've got to get the damage in.
I'll show you power.
Now, after this, he's gonna have to be a little careful because there's not really a lot left, right, in the tank. Like Impartial Strix might not be big enough anymore. 4.33s are not how you really want to be spending your turn. Hector's not live yet. Razor Claw might just be a play next turn just so you can get some damage in, but
If you evolve the Belinus, that's just bada bing, bada boom.
yeah, very easy.
6 damage to Zeruel.
He might be considering evolving the Andrielphus. That's always a consideration.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really line up nicely this turn. Unless he wants to use the Zombie Party too.
I think you can. Like, you're not scared of saving for future. Like, you're. Well, to be fair, that Phantom Cat comes down and it ruins you. You know?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta.
Phantom Cat and a Phantom Cat. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like you have to be thinking about how do I
Yeah.
win this game as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Want to play?
It's feeling pretty good for Praetorian.
Yeah, Praetorian is definitely ahead at this point, but this
The
isn't-
top deck can
yeah,
change everything.
these are
though.
top deck. This is top deck mode for an aggro deck.
Deck is very aggressive.
Not bad.
Yeah, that
Not
can
bad.
keep pushing the game plan forward with the. Okay, well, do you
I think you have to save it for the
Do you
Hector.
Razor Claw just. You can't. You can't. You are actually just dead, right? Because 2/2. If you just Razor Claw face.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, you actually just die.
Yeah.
Ouch.
You can't.
Yeah, there's no good way around this.
You have to evolve.
I think you just have to play the Hector and suck it up. Can't deal the damage.
Oh boy.
I mean, you can play the Evelicia and evolve it into the Necro Assassin. That is a play. And then you can technically Razor Claw after that. This also works. Oh, it is buff still. Okay. Oh, he's going defensive with the Razor Claw. Ooh.
Interesting. That avoids the 5 damage, right? Which means that this Strix will be a little more healthy. Oh, which means that now he has to swing the Andrielphus into the actual Strix, which avoids 2 damage.
He can Soul Squash it if he wants to.
That's true, but then he does an Odal.
That's true. Odal's a little bit more board positive, a little bit end the game sooner positive.
Yeah. And the Soul Squasher does not pair with any of the other cards.
That's true.
Oh, the Strix is so big.
He could play Skeleton Prince and use an Evolve this turn and then still hit for 2. I kind of like that the most because it presents lethal faster.
Mhm.
I think that's the fastest way to get there. I think that's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds very...
Yeah, you evolve the 2/3. That way you have a 3/1 attacker, you have a 1/1, you have a 2/1. Praetorian really going over this play in his head.
Wow. Okay.
This doesn't really do too much different. A little bit less damage overall over the next couple turns.
That's
It doesn't do anything.
not good anymore.
I think you just got to play the Hector at this point.
The fact that there's no
On the
Ector,
warfield, a shining helmet.
maybe the Ector off the top, doesn't have the shadows to rush it down.
Yeah. Ooh, that was nice. That was really
That
nice.
was super good. He still has the Evolution Orb. Yeah, it's going to flood the board.
All All right. Interesting. Still same type of situation here.
Yeah.
I don't know how Zeruel can draw out of this. He used his
Oh,
offensive
no.
cards defensively.
Praetorian is almost going to just take first place
Sleep.
with Portal Craft.
2-0-2-0.
Oh, no. 3-1, 4-1, and 2-1 left on board, and virtually no cards in hand. The Phantom Cast
There it
shows up.
is. Late.
Too little, too late, maybe. Ah! Oh, that feels so bad. That feels so bad.
So close. Zeruel, fake the Razor Claw. Oh, nope, didn't do it.
Oh, no. He's got 3 health left.
I won't accept this.
One Razor Claw away. Chose to use it defensively. Maybe he could have played a little bit defensively differently with like the Hector earlier and
Yeah.
kept that Razor Claw for face damage and won that game. Nail-biter. But Praetorian coming back, sweeping. 2-0.
Portal Craft.
2-0. Portal Craft. Unbelievable.
Wow. What a day
Unbelievable.
here it was. We were talking about how we were